Down this road, on a summer day in 1944, the soldiers came. Nobody lives here now. They stayed only a few hours. When they had gone, a community which had lived for 1,000 years was dead. This is Oradour-sur-Glane in France. The day the soldiers came, the people were gathered together. The men were taken to garages and barns. The women and children were led down this road, and they were driven into this church. Here, they heard the firing as their men were shot. Then they were killed too. A few weeks later, many of those who had done the killing were themselves dead in battle. They never rebuilt Oradour. Its ruins are a memorial. Its martyrdom stands for 1,000 upon 1,000 of other martyrdoms in Poland, in Russia, in Burma, in China, in a world at war.
This is the story of a revolution, one which has affected every person in the West and touched every country in the world. It is a revolution which has dictated the very fabric of our lives. From science to sexuality. From home life to high art. Its influence has spread from the workshops of the Industrial Revolution to the gleaming towers of Wall Street. From 24/7 capitalism to world politics.
We are in a conflict between good and evil.
And it was all the product of an incredible revolutionary figure. Not a general or a philosopher, but a German monk called Martin Luther. It started as an argument over theology nearly 500 years ago. An argument that would split the Catholic Church and witness the emergence of a new form of Christianity, Protestantism. But this was an accidental revolution, the impact of which went far beyond religion. This is the story of how Protestantism moulded the modern world.
This is the story of how Sigmund Freud's ideas about the unconscious mind were used by those in power in post-war America to try and control the masses. Politicians and planners came to believe that Freud was right to suggest that hidden deep within all human beings were dangerous and irrational desires and fears. They were convinced that it was the unleashing of these instincts that had led to the barbarism of Nazi Germany. To stop it ever happening again, they set out to find ways to control this hidden enemy within the human mind. At the heart of the story are Sigmund Freud's daughter Anna and his nephew Edward Bernays, who had invented the profession of public relations. Their ideas were used by the US government, big business and the CIA to develop techniques to manage and control the minds of the American people. Those in power believed that the only way to make democracy work and create a stable society was to repress the savage barbarism that lurked just under the surface of normal American life.
the water around here? It's orange. Ew. Parents tell their kids it's tomato soup, but the truth is a much more interesting story.
Given the fact that so many recent history programs have all the resources of dramatic reconstruction, not to mention computer-generated animations, I should perhaps warn you that what you're not going to see in this program is anything that you might be tempted to think of as walking with atheists. I will not be seen leaning over a balcony like this, watching René Descartes nibbling his quill while he struggles with the problem of mind-brain duality. And there will be no blurred, slow-motion shots of people making leaps of faith or failing to do so. Well, first of all, because I think such dramatizations are somewhat vulgar and they're inappropriate.
Gaze into this crystal, and you will behold a few of them.
And in any case, I think such an approach supposes that from the vantage point of a time machine, I'd be able to look down fondly upon individuals who are clearly antecedents of people like myself, who had to go through the penalties, dangers and risks of atheism, whilst I could luxuriate in the achievements which they won unknowingly on my behalf. No, in looking backwards, we will not find people who are the counterparts of those of us today who enjoy the luxury of thoughtless disbelief. All the same, while these programs may reveal how the doctrines and dogmas of religious faith have been called into question, I suppose that the doctrines and dogmas of modern television require me to present you with a trailer of what you have in store.
Is God willing to prevent evil, but not able? Then he is not omnipotent. Is he able but not willing? Then he is malevolent.
In making this series, I've inevitably discovered that the history of faith and doubt is a great deal more complicated than it might seem.
Is God both able and willing? Then whence cometh evil? Is he neither able nor willing? Then why call him God?
My inquiry has been helped by conversations I've had with historians, writers, scientists and philosophers.
I think most people who say they believe in God, most people in the West who say they believe in God, actually believe in belief in God.
Well, I tried to be a religious person when I was 12, 13, 14. It lasted about 2 years.
People are so used to the idea that complicated things in our human world are indeed designed and made. But when you've said, oh, it was designed by God, you've explained absolutely nothing.
A week maybe, or a few days after the September 11 disaster, there was a huge service here in New York City, and I watched it on television, and people were singing, "The Lord is my shepherd." And a friend who was watching the same program on television told me, wow, some shepherd.